Thank you, Mayor. First, I'll make a motion to extend time so we can carry on.
Motion second. I'm sorry. Councilmember, I apologize. Is there discussion? Favoring opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. And then as a point of order, Mrs. Herring can come up. She just can't stand at the podium. So, Mr. Herring, would you have your wife come back up front, please? And someone can say how far she needs to stand back, but we have multiple speakers stand up there, but just not at the microphone, so please come on up. You are certainly welcome to be here like everyone else that comes to council. With that said, it's a touchy situation. We've got an existing ordinance. You know what it is. We've got to comply with it. We also need to find a way that you can get out and feed your clients, whoever, wherever. And I think we need to find a balance, too, at the parks, because there's some public pushback on feeding homeless in parks, and that's just an issue that has to be dealt with. That's the elephant in the room sometimes. So be mindful of that as well. We want to be clean. We want to, pick up after ourselves, whatever the case may be. But, Mayor, in the interim, while we work through this, through the two committees, and if I was scared when I heard one committee, I'm really scared if I hear two committees, because that's a long time, potentially, because I know how hard it is to schedule committee meetings. But is there anything we can do in the interim? I know you offered up, Councilmember Adams offered up a suggestion working with another kitchen, but I don't want to say this is an emergency situation, but it's important to people, both on the receiving end of the food line and in the giving end of the food line. So if there's anything we can do in the interim, to get them back in business, back in service, some kind of way while we work toward some legal resolution, then I'm all ears.
I think Councilmember Adams is working with all due speed, but
Councilmember Sullivan, we're really trying, because Kathy Boyden... Go ahead. Sorry, Councilmember Sullivan, would you use
Yes, ma'am.
please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. One of the things that we're working with Kathy Barton and Health on, because she began working on it as soon as we contact her, and I said we need to get something in place, and she's been working, quickly, so she got it done as quickly as she could, and now we're just sending it over to the mayor's office in legal just to make sure everything fit in. But I would love to receive, I will forward it over to you as well, and then you can look at it if you would like to offer some suggestion. But we're trying to get it to Councilmember Jarvis's committee as soon as we can, and I think his first one is the first Monday in February. So that's the quickest, but I will ask Kathy if she would, if there's anything that we can do besides this to move quicker for you all can continue. She's here in the audience, and maybe if there is something legally, then we can do that, I'm sure. But if not, we would have to wait till it comes before full council and approval before anything else can happen. Mayor, if you want to offer any...
no, Councilmember, she's yielded your time back.
Okay, yes, thank you. And Mayor, any input that you've got, Councilmember Johnson, are you amenable to bringing this to the committee first week in February?
February 5th.
Okay, sounds great. Good. And we've got cooperation. I appreciate that. I really do. It's an issue that crosses all boundaries, all across town, at large and district council members. So we appreciate it. Mayor, if there's any input that you can add, are you supportive of the committee work so far?
Absolutely. As I said, Councilmember Adams is taking point. That's and this is
okay. Very good. Well, good. Well, stay in touch with us, and if there's anything we can do in our council office to help, let us know, and we'll be helpful, and we'll attend the committee meetings to give some input as well.
Thank you. And we have resumed feeding. We just do it on private property, and we have places that are certified health kitchens that are kind of chipping in and providing the food right now. And so we are also, I am working with the Coalition for the Homeless. She got an email from me, and I am working with her in every other recommendation, so I appreciate all your recommendations.
Good. Well, thanks for the cooperative attitude. Sometimes people come up and it's confrontational. Nobody ever wins, but this sounds like you're working with us. And if you'll work on, work with all those departments and people, we'll end up getting this fixed. And you certainly have gotten some attention for the cause, which is a good cause. And I think we can't say enough good. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Councilmember Clutterbuck.
Thank you, Mayor. I, too, wanted to add my thanks and appreciation for these good people both appearing before us and for the good hard work that they're doing. To just acknowledge that we appreciate you living your faith. And as the song goes, we know you by your love.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Trey, let me thank you for the work that you do, not only in feeding the homeless, but then certainly as you spread the gospel in the community. And I know you work with a lot of children on a daily basis, and so I applaud the efforts that you do take in the work that you do and your belief But as we talked before, the fact is that yes, there has been a lot of media placed on this, and certainly I want you to protect yourself as much as you possibly can, because now that there is a lot of media attention on you. Certainly, motion to extend time.
Second. Discussion. Favoring, opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. Now that there is a lot of attention on you, I don't want the hate mongers out there to take advantage of that and then start to hold you more accountable, and then here comes the lawsuits because you don't have that commercial kitchen. And as I said to you before, I will make available any commercial kitchen that I have at my disposal, which there are 8 in the city of Houston. If you want to use them, great. And certainly we'll work out a schedule. I'm glad you are working with some of the other organizations that are out there that will provide you the commercial kitchen that you need in order to provide the food that you certainly desire to do. So we will have a committee on February 7th that will discuss this particular ordinance that we think will address the feeding of the homeless. And so I think we're on the right path. And again, government sometimes can get in the way. I know very well how that can happen. I used to run an after-school program, and the city of Houston came in and said, you don't have an occupancy permit, so you have to shut down. And I was totally flabbergasted because right next door to my youth center was a hot sheet motel. And drugs, prostitution, and everything else was going in and out of there. While I thought I was doing the right thing and helping the community, the city only looked at what the regulations were. And they said, well, we can't shut down the motel, but we can shut you down. And when you look at it, and certainly you had to look at it from a standpoint, there are fire and safety standards that need to be in place that we wanted to make sure that didn't hold me at a liability, and then certainly put those children on a liability, and then certainly the city of Houston. There are just those people out there that when they see an opportunity to pounce, they will. They'll open records you to death. They'll make sure that you have every I dotted and every T crossed twice. And if you don't, they'll find a reason to try to shut you down. So I want to make sure that you have every aspect of your organization in place so nobody can come in and stop the work that you are doing, because we all know that you are doing God's work. And I know you're doing it from the heart. This is not for attention. This is not for money. I've seen you put your own money in. I've watched you work tirelessly over the years. And so I applaud the efforts that you are doing. So we'll make available the resources that you need in order to make sure you can continue to do the work that you do, but I also believe it's going to be very important that you find those collaborations that are necessary, because if we all start to work together, then we can do certainly far more work than what we are doing individually. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more, Councilmember Jones.
Thank you. I thank you for what you do. I believe that how society deals with the homeless is an issue people don't want to talk about, and there are people that understand that one man's trash is another man's treasure. In other words, you may have food left over and it doesn't make any sense to recycle it, but to give it to someone who will nourish. And I'm thankful that Councilmember Adams is going to take the lead on this to try to get us where we need to get to. But I think that we need to look at how we treat the homeless, period, how we fund the homeless, period, moving the homeless out of certain areas because, I don't know, like I said, not worthy enough to be there or what have you. So it's really a larger issue in my opinion. And I think that the fact that this came out is important, and I believe that our treatment or how we deal with the homeless is just as important as drainage in the city. It's just as important as historic preservation in the city. It's just as important because homeless people are people too. And so I thank you for what you do. There are a lot of people like you. You just happen to be in the spotlight right now. But we need to keep this a discussion, because it's real easy for people to drive by homeless people at the red light and just look the other way like they're not there, right? Yeah. But they're people. Yes. And I challenge us all when we pass by homeless people to look at them, yes, because they absolutely are people. And they have issues like everyone else. So thank you for what you do. Thank you. And your wife.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Chavez.